Millions of years after the apocalypse of the Cursed Wars, the malevolent king reincarnated to burn the world down. But after capturing his vessel for execution, the man who was supposed to save humanity decided to spare his life instead. Earlier that day, this ugly, disgusting loser had brought flowers to give his sickly grandfather, who screamed at Yuji that he had watched him grow into a strong man. He wished for him to use his powers to save people's lives before letting out his final breath. Seeing his lifeless body, Yuji struggled to hold back his tears before his grandpa was taken away. But as he began filling out his funeral papers, an edgy figure appeared, commanding him to hand over the cursed object he had stolen. However, Yuji revealed that his friends were the ones who had it, and remembered that they were going to peel the seal off tonight. When Fushiguro heard those words, he revealed that Yuji's friends were about to die. They began sprinting toward the school, but a force field stopped Yuji from moving forward, so Fushiguro told him to stay back. Inside the school, the curse had begun to consume one of Yuji's friends, and another one grabbed Saki. Fushiguro rushed down the hallway, summoning his divine dogs. Outside the building, Yuji realized that his friends were about to die but remembered his grandpa's final words, asking him to use his powers to save lives. Fushiguro kept charging forward. A massive curse appeared before his eyes, grabbing Saki's body, and Yuji knew he couldn't let his friends die. As the curse was about to swallow her along with the finger, Yuji leaped through the window, flipping towards the curse, punching it down and declaring that he wouldn't allow his friends to die yet. Just then, Fushiguro slashed the curse apart, thinking it was a miracle that the finger hadn't been swallowed, since anyone who swallows it would gain the greatest cursed energy in the world. In that moment, a curse began to appear above Yuji. Fushiguro pushed him away before being crushed down. However, a massive monster threw him against the wall, punching him with enough force to destroy the entire building. As the giant beast began running toward him, Fushiguro was unable to use his curse technique, but Yuji smashed the monster down. After dodging its attacks, he leaped off the bridge, grabbed onto its hair, and punched its eye, but it regenerated it. In that instant, he was determined to follow his grandfather's words. But after the curse punched him into the air and sent the finger flying, he leaped to catch it with his mouth. The monster began attempting to swallow him, but realizing he had no other option if he wanted to save everyone, he swallowed the finger. As soon as he saw that happen, Fushiguro realized that Yuji would die. But there was still a 1 in a million chance of something else happening. The 1 in a million chance of Sukuna incarnating had occurred. Sukuna realized he was reborn in a new era filled with innocent victims and ripe mothers he could devour. However, Yuji held back his face. When Sukuna wondered how he was still able to move, he realized that Yuji was somehow suppressing him. So, Fushiguro told him to stand in his place to exorcise him, but Yuji tried saying he was fine as he began overcoming Sukuna's control of his body. Just then, the sexiest, hottest Giga Chad Alpha in all of anime appeared. Realizing that the curse had really combined with Yuji's body, he asked him to swap out with Sukuna for 10 seconds. But when Yuji hesitated, Gojo told him not to worry because he was the strongest. As Sukuna regained control, he leaped toward Gojo, exploding the bridge in that instant. When the dust settled, Gojo was sitting on top of him. As Sukuna tried to slash him down, he teleported away from all of his attacks, telling him he was going to show real power in front of his student. In that instant, he flashed behind him, leveraging his momentum to send Sukuna spinning in the air before punching him with enough power to destroy the ground with the backlash of the wind. Even so, Sukuna rushed back, launching his cursed energy to destroy the building, thinking it would be enough to handle Gojo. However, Gojo was unscathed. After Gojo counted to 10 seconds, Yuji began regaining control of his body. Sukuna wondered who was powerful enough to suppress him. Seeing his ability to control the curse, Gojo thought it was a miracle, but touched his head to knock him unconscious for execution. However, Fushiguro asked Gojo to spare his life, so Gojo promised he'd take care of it. Back in the present, Gojo revealed that this was why Yuji's ugly ass was getting executed. But there was one part of the story he was still hiding. After taking one of Sukuna's fingers, he threw it in the air before forcing it toward the wall, showing that they couldn't be destroyed. So he planned on feeding Yuji all 20 fingers before executing him to wipe out Sukuna's existence from this world forever. Inside the crematorium, Yuji wondered if swallowing all the fingers would save the lives of others. When Gojo told him it would, he asked him to show him the other finger. After taking it away, Gojo stepped back while Yuji ate it, realizing he had now consumed a tenth of Sukuna's power, and wondered if he could take it. In that instant, Sukuna's overwhelming energy began to take Yuji's body away. But as he kept inching closer, struggling to resist, he was able to overcome the cursed energy. Gojo realized that Yuji was definitely Sukuna's vessel, the first one to ever be born and the last one to ever exist. After leaving his family's grave, Gojo told Yuji that he would be transferring to one of the jujutsu tech high schools, a place where he would learn to control the cursed energy he gained from Sukuna's powers. However, Sukuna's mouth popped out the side of Yuji's face, telling Gojo that he would never be able to control his powers and that he would become his first target after devouring Yuji's body. Hearing those words, Gojo thought it was an honor to be a target of the great Sukuna. After all, he revealed that Sukuna was the strongest sorcerer during the golden age of jujutsu, earning him the title King of Curses. When Yuji asked if he would lose against Sukuna after eating all 20 fingers, Gojo told him that he'd win. After showing him his dorm, Gojo went on to introduce him to an ugly, disgusting character named Kisaki. He then took them to some abandoned buildings, saying that their mission would be to kill the cursed living inside. After leaving, one of the other school officials cast a veil from the sky, concealing them from the outside world, while Fushiguro summoned his divine dogs to lead them toward the cursed. But as soon as they entered inside, Fushiguro screamed at them to stop, realizing they were inside a massive innate domain. When he turned around, he noticed that their exit was gone. However, they began going deeper into the building, and when Yuji saw the corpse of an ugly man, he wanted to bring him outside to give him a proper burial. But Fushiguro grabbed his shirt, telling him, "We can't be dragged down with a body while a curse is about to kill us." After all, he wasn't even worth saving, Fushiguro explained, revealing that he had access to all the information about the scene, saying this person had hit a little girl while drunk driving, killing her in that instant. So he asked Yuji, what would you do if a person you saved kills someone else? But Yuji asked him why he saved him in the first place. Then the ugly man began screaming at them before getting swallowed into the ground. As Fushiguro wondered why his dogs hadn't sensed what happened, he told Yuji they needed to run and find the calculator. But before they could move, the curse appeared before them. It was a special grade curse, the highest level of all curses. As Yuji tried slashing at it, his hand was ripped off. At the same time, Kisaki wondered where she was taken to, surrounded by thousands of faces. With his arm cut off, Yuji told Sukuna that they would die together, so he needed to help him fight this beast. But Sukuna revealed that he still had 18 other fragments of his soul, and even if they switched, he would kill his edgelord friend faster than the cursed spirit, and he'd go on to have fun with Kisaki before killing her as well. Just then, the demon unleashed a wave of pure cursed energy, laughing at their worthless faces. So Yuji screamed at Fushiguro to take Kisaki out of there, allowing him to switch out with Sukuna to save them. A few minutes later, he was running down the hallway, summoning his divine dogs to find Kisaki. But she was already on her last nail, realizing she was about to be killed. At the same time, the spirit took his pants off and was about to clap Yuji. But before he could react, the spirit launched an energy barrier, smashing him against the wall, and rushed back to pulverize him, causing him to land on a bridge after losing consciousness. As soon as he woke up, the spirit released a beam of cursed energy toward Yuji, with enough heat to burn his fingers off. However, he wondered why he got himself into this situation, wishing he hadn't even eaten the finger. But he screamed at himself to stop, realizing he didn't want to run or die even though his body was completely blown away. Inside the lower level, Nober realized she was on a trip this entire time, but as the mushroom began to eat her, a tongue licked her body and swallowed her. She wished she hadn't enjoyed Fushiguro's tongue as much as she did. At the same time, the cursed spirit was about to kill Yuji, and he realized he was weaker than he'd ever imagined. He began crying, saying he didn't want to die. However, he realized this was the life he chose. He wanted to save the people he cared about. So, with all his anger channeled, he began to activate Black Flash and started rushing toward the demon, nearly unleashing the strongest attack in the jujutsu world, but was blocked before he could connect. Just then, he heard the howling of Fushiguro's wolf and realized they made it outside. So he let Sukuna take over. The cursed spirit realized he was screwed, but Sukuna wanted to make him regret summoning him. So he realized he should team up with the curse to kill his friends and asked it to follow him outside. But as he kept walking, the curse tried to blast him away, so Sukuna raised Yuji's arm to block it, but regretted that he accidentally regenerated it for him. When the curse realized how powerful he was, Sukuna flashed toward him, crushing his head onto the ground, telling him to try again before crushing his head again and destroying the bridge. As they were falling down, the curse tried throwing him away, but Sukuna had ripped off its arm and began laughing at it, causing him to collapse into the water plant outside the building. Fushiguro gave Nobara's unconscious body to the school official, asking them to bring Gojo back, although he knew he was probably too far away by now. Downstairs, Sukuna wondered how they were both considered special grade curses, especially with the difference in their power levels. But the demon tried to regenerate all of its limbs and leaped down to fight against him. However, Sukuna thought it was a shame that it had no idea what a curse was capable of, and decided to show him the true essence of jujutsu sorcery. In that instant, the demon was cut into 17 different pieces, but Sukuna realized what one of his fingers was inside. After taking it, he burned the curse out of existence, calling out for Yuji to switch. But after not responding, he told him to quit blue-balling him already. And after he didn't respond once again, he smiled, realizing what he could do outside the building.